Good evening. I want to talk about something I just came across this weekend, actually. Japan's government announced the decision to begin dumping more than 1 million tons of treated but still radioactive wastewater from the crippled Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean in 2 years. Currently, about 1.25 million tons of radioactive water being stored, and this site is expected to reach full capacity next year. Honestly, this may be shocking to y'all, but I remember RT had mentioned that it was suspected that water was leaking out of those tanks. Radioactive water was already leaking out into the groundwater and such. Because they're pouring water in to cool down the thing. I think they never even found the cores, and that's something that I kept expecting to hear. I mean, Um, before I go into it, let me speak on this. This is another issue of why I follow foreign media. I'm very clear about this. I follow foreign. I don't trust Western media. Now I watch DW. The Germans are really on that climate change stuff, things of that nature. But other than that, no. Um, it 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 does concern me that this isn't even an issue. No one's even talking about this. That they're about to dump radioactive water in the ocean. Just like we nearly had a major confrontation between Israel and Iran last week, where a missile landed within 30 kilometers of a nuclear reactor in Israel, and no one's talking about it. Like that didn't happen. It bothers me. And I've talked in the past about how there's a lot of things that go on that we've come very close to wars, to nuclear conflicts that most Americans don't even know or care about. Uh, this is another one of those issues. Now, they're saying it's going to be staggered. Over 20 years, they're going to do this. People need to understand something. That material isn't going anywhere. That material is going to be here for a long time. Those chemicals do. They have a half life. They can go hundreds of years. And it like I said, it makes me it no, I have. It's made me lose faith in humanity. That to know people are just stupid and to know that people really don't care. They don't. They don't care. It doesn't matter. These things don't matter. Um, or they've just become apathetic. Is that the word? To where this stuff is just normalized now. It's just normal to every couple of weeks, every couple of months to have this big showdown where something almost happened but doesn't. It made me think about watching Young Turks. They were uh, talking about this issue, and one of them brought up climate change and how I think it's John is Izarola. He talked about how he's pessimistic. I'm beyond pessimistic. If we can't even get a third of the country to believe climate change is a real issue, there's no way you're gonna deal with it. And here's the danger. Here's the real danger. One of the main things they've talked about is releasing, like spraying something in the air to like cut the sunlight or whatever. Let's say that happens, and let's say it works. Let's say it doesn't hurt people. Well, if it does hurt people, you got a big portion of the country is going to say it's depopulation. If it does work, what will happen is people will say, "See, we can just keep using technology, and so we'll keep on like normal, or we'll actually expand, do more pollution. They can do that. We'll do more pollution. We'll cut the few restrictions we do have on these plants and stuff. And so in time, even the efforts made, it'll be for nil. What I'm telling you is we're only buying time. This manner in which we live is unstable. That's, if nothing else, understand that our way of life is unstable. You, as I said, you can't. A third of the country doesn't even believe climate change exists. We have a worldwide pandemic where people really believe the Democrats created the pandemic just to hurt Donald Trump. Guys, a lot of these senators are millionaires. A lot of these guys have businesses. You think they want to ruin their own businesses to hurt a president? Where people's family got sick, congressmen got sick, there's a congressman that died because of this. You think they wanted that to happen? You think like, really? Wow, you think they had that much power? We got a huge portion of the country that believes to this day that the vaccine is gonna make you gay. This vaccine is gonna make the kids gay. That the vaccine is the mark of the beast. We got a bunch of people in this country that after this Texas blackout situation, people were dying in their houses, water pipes freezing in their houses and stuff. Those people actually believe the snow is fake. I'm trying to get you to understand the nature of many of your countrymen. They're done. They're gone. They're not in this. They're not in the ballpark. They're not in the neighborhood of the ballpark. You're not going to, and then those people too are doing things knowingly to harm others. That's another thing. They like that you're scared. They like to cough at people that they see wearing a mask. Yeah, that was happening in the beginning of the pandemic. You can't reason with those kind of people. They delight in cruelty. They delight in viciousness. Viciousness is a value. That's manhood. Harming people, scaring people. And they're willing to die for this idea of America. That's what I had to learn. The idea that people are going to just, I thought they just didn't know certain things. That's not it. They believe in this, big talking, big stepping, belligerent America. They believe in the empire. That's what they want. The idea that you're going to just find some science, that's done with, man. That's over with. I, for one, believe that the technology becomes too advanced, these dumbasses are going to start saying, well, the technology's magic. I really fucking believe two things. Within the next 10 years, it's two things going to happen. A, rednecks are going to just start saying, this is magic. I don't understand any of it, man. They're going to start saying the technology. They're going to start saying whatever we have is magic. They're going to be like, I don't believe in any of it. The second thing that's going to happen is Christians are going to say, okay, climate change exists, but we're living in the end times. That's going to happen. That's the next step. The next step is Christians are going to, not all of them, but you're going to have big Christian ministers, big evangelical ministers are going to say, look, it's the end times. And God designed it that way. I seen a minister say that, what is it, Earth is temporal or some shit like that. Yeah. That's the next step. It's for the Christians, it's like doublethink. It's like 1984. Like the same thing a minister said 10 years ago, they'll just be like, nah, we don't believe that anymore. We believe this now. Yeah. I'm reading 1984, George Orwell right now. And that, in my opinion, is evangelical Christianity. A big part of it. We can just twist the story up. We didn't say that, even though you just did. Yeah. Two big things that's going to happen next decade. And we talking about climate change here. A big part of climate change would have been regionalism, globalism, what do you want to call it? Globalism, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. You're not going to deal with this shit by recycling or by beating people over the head for not recycling their plastics. That's not, no. It's like cancel culture. That's something that is long term. It's long term. It goes against what we're trying to do. And what's worse is it plays up to white supremacists who are, they're beating on us. They're just beating on. We can't do anything. Climate change, if we're going to do something about it, if we're going to take this stuff seriously, that's a cultural thing. That's what we teach the children thing. That's a diplomatic thing. That's a decade-long process. You're not gonna flip a switch tomorrow and deal with that. People have got to. We've got to be sophisticated about this stuff. There's got to be a sophisticated approach to climate change and to pollution, or else you get a Trump who's just going to go up there and talk about uh, the toilets not flushing properly that are water safe, which is a lie, and the lights aren't bright enough, and what else did Trump talk about? It's shit like that. Trump was it was a throwback, but he was really a reversal on everything we tried to do. Trump was 4 years of wasted time on the climate change aspect, no doubt. It's no doubt. I'm no doubt in my mind. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I think the most dangerous part of it is that Trump had an impact on American culture of this. We're going to do the opposite of what science says. It'd be like if a guy said, I'm going to break every commandment and I'm going to go through the book of Leviticus and break everything the book of Leviticus bans. Like that's basically what Trump did. He brought about that era now. Like the guys, when George Floyd died, he had guys kneeling on each other's necks and they were like smiling. That's Trumpism. That's what Trumpism is. I'm gonna make mockery of something that scares people. I'm going to go out here and do things to inflame, to outrage, and to honestly scare the left. And my politics are simply to do that. My politics aren't to solve any problems; they're to create problems, and that's how you got Marjorie Taylor Greene and the other lady. Name escapes my mind. This is what those people are, and Trump made that okay. He made that sexy, like Obama made the national security state sexy. He made droning sexy. Remember Obama? Somebody asked him about his daughter dating, and he was like, "I'm getting pretty good at killing people with the drones." Remember he talked about that, and he talked about, "I got a phone and a pen." Yeah, that's what Obama was. Obama was, I'm going to make the national security state sexy. Because most Americans are fools. And if they're not watching huge military movements, they don't care. Because no one they know is involved. Obama was like, we'll use drones. And we'll use special forces. We'll use, things like that. That's what Obama, it's kind of like Clinton using the jets during Kosovo. It's the same thing. I'm going to do stuff. We're going to go out and kill people. Oh, yeah, we're going to kill people. But I'm going to do it in such a way that it doesn't involve the bulk of American military forces. That's what Obama was. And with Trump, it was, I call it the know-nothings. The know-nothings. Climate change ain't real. COVID's not real because no one I know has died from it. COVID, this is what it is, the know-nothings. I don't know anything. America's not changing. And if it is changing, they're trying to, it's a conspiracy to take away white America's stuff. Yes. I just think that there's no positive outcome to climate change on that front. None. It's because our culture's fucked up. This is a cultural issue. This isn't a, hey, let's just flip a switch and this is none of that. This is a cultural issue of because we're watching climate change happen now. We're watching lakes in Africa dry up. We're like, I can show you climate change. We're watching people, like my family in Jamaica that talks about the water rising. We can show you this stuff. This is not conspiracy theory stuff. But what Trump did was, hey, white people, you're losing to the brown people, and you can't win against that. Because that narrative is not a narrative based upon science, it's a narrative based upon hatred and cruelty. Under Gal and Young Turks talked about, Sejin Kuger talked about Elon Musk trying to go up into Mars, and now it's dumb. It's not dumb. Nothing dumb about that. a dumb decision. I've said it before, and I stand by this, that I believe there's a secret science. I believe there's, I'm not no Q, none of that Q shit, but there's a secret. I believe there's a secret science. I believe there's people that live 20 to 30 years beyond us. Not talking about rich people that live way beyond us. And I think that maybe Elon Musk knows that this stuff is happening sooner than we think. Maybe climate change is worse. See, I believe Trump even believes in climate change. I don't believe in what Trump says. Two things to white people. I follow the money. I'm always follow this man's money. Always. And I follow the military. That's two things about America. The money and the military. When I saw Trump's pick for Joint Chiefs of Staff, his guy wrote a couple 100-page paper on dealing with climate change. It's on the internet. When I looked that up, there was something to that. That's Trump's guy. Like Obama's. When I saw the Republicans, there were bills they've passed, things they put forward, money to harden military bases. I knew what that was. Hey, maybe that wall is for climate change. See, we've got to understand these people aren't looking at this stuff as let's fix it for the betterment of humanity. They're looking at this stuff simply for one reason only: profit and neocolonial objectives. That's what that stuff is. These are neocolonial objectives. They're looking at the future. And if these things hurt guys in Africa and make Africa more amenable to Western objectives, then what's the harm? So what if a bunch of Africans die? What's the big deal? So what if we get stronger storms in Haiti? So what if Jamaica gets messed? So what? Who gives a fuck? So what if the storms get stronger? They don't care about that stuff. They look at these are weapons. These guys are looking into the future, and so I go back to Elon Musk. Elon Musk might see that. He might see that something big is coming, and he might feel like, gotta get out of here. I don't hate on him for that. I don't hate. I just it disturb. I can't watch SpaceX. I can't watch that stuff. I don't follow. I can't watch because it is so disturbing to me to know that this is the escape hatch for rich people, and they're gonna leave us behind. That there's a paper out there. You can look it up. It's called "Flash Mobs, Brain Chips: A Grim View of the Future," and that was the British Ministry of Defense. It's an article based on a paper they made back in the 2000s. And that's the future. That's what I follow. Shit like that. That's what this is a paper the Germans got where they're talking about they're worried that more countries are going to leave the EU. This is what I look at. Not racist, classist bullshit pushed by Western media. These guys are doing what they can. Elon Musk doing what he can to protect his family and his businesses. He's looking into the future, man. You can't hate on them for wanting to use his money to do that. What I hate is the fact that most Americans can't see this, that we can't understand this, that we're going to engage in this hyper-militarism while the climate gets worse, while we can see it, while scientists are like coming up with more and more technology that they can detect evidence of this. And people are like, well, I don't care. That as science comes out, people won't even look at this stuff. That's what bothers me. Not rich people, because I would do that. Fuck, I would do that if I could. I would do that in a second. I don't hate you for protecting yourself. Shit, that's like if a rich man is living out there in Malibu and he's like, I'm going to hire people as firefighters on my property. I wouldn't hate him. He's doing what he got the money, so he's going to use that money to protect himself. Nothing wrong with that. No shame in that. The shame is if the rest of the community didn't realize that, oh, so this is a threat. Hey, that would be the shame. I just it just bothers me that these issues aren't discussed, and it bothers me that we're going down this path of destruction and it isn't even discussed. Thanks for listening.